Welcome to Community Crossfire, another point of view. Ladies and gentlemen, matter of fact, I'm hoping that most of the young folks are watching the basketball game because we're going to have a mature discussion this evening. I'm happy to have as my guests our guys joining me, Herman Holloway Jr. and Ugundi Jacobs. I don't know if you got an opportunity. I'm gonna get right into it because it's a serious subject. Repeat offenders, and you know what I found interesting about this article in the paper. First, they talked about the repeat offenders, and of course, I knew some of the guys. But when I opened up the paper, you know, I think they had a picture of a lot of the repeat offenders, and most of the guys who were on a pod, right, were black. You know, on a pod playing basketball. And if you look at all the folks making comments, they're white. You know, I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm saying this. You know, like you got Dan Berger, you got Drew, you got this other lady, you got the governor, everybody making comments that are white, and all the guys up here, well, look like 95, 99% of them are black. And even the guys who they're talking about. And I think that's kind of strange. That's just me, you know. Also, I was following this other, and I'm gonna throw this out to my panel, and I want people to talk to me about this. Also, me personally, I think that some of these guys are targets, especially when you come to probation and parole officers. I'm talking about some of the judges, and I'm not saying that you let black folks out who do crimes, but when you talk about some of the heroin charges that they get, they put 13 bundles in the paper, Gundy, like it's probably that's probably cost $1,000. I mean, I don't, you know, I talked to some guys in that industry and they say that's about $1,000. I also read in the paper where they said blacks who use marijuana or get marijuana charges are charged more harshly than whites. Now, I went to Wilmington High, right? Before DSEG. And, you know, people be rolling joints and, you know, get $5 bags of marijuana and so forth. You went out to Newark High School, man, they had pounds. So don't make it like the white folks ain't smoking marijuana. They got bongs. You know, I'm kidding. I want to have an adult discussion. You know what I mean? And I just want to know, do you guys feel like sometimes some of the inner city youth, especially blacks, I'm gonna keep it, you know, black and white, and we can have a dialogue about that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is my opinion. This is not Herman or Gundy. This is my opinion. I think sometimes they're treated more harshly. And also, I was talking to a friend. They was talking about guys writing out Oxycontin, Percocets. Man, there ain't nobody in our community got access like that. But then they come sell them. So do you two guys think, am I off base? Am I being too lenient? Do the criminal justice system need to be harder? Some of the stuff I've seen with my own eyes the last couple of months, just doing my nephew. I think the judges, been overly zealous. I think the probation and parole officers have been overly zealous. And maybe I'm too close to it, but this is the first time I've seen it. Herm, do you have a comment on Gundy?
Let me just say, first of all, that we, the Gundy, you, younger brothers that are out there on the horizon, Trippy, Justin Wright, and others, Norman, we are so overwhelmed with the problems being so out of hand in our community. The village has come loose. There is no more village to raise a child. And the reason I approach your issue that way is because things are just so out of hand in Buckwild. We're all so very busy in our own way, from Bishop Weeks, Reverend Beeman, you name them. They're out there doing things in their own way. We all are. You at Newer Enterprise, me at King Center. You see what I'm saying? And at the bottom line of it, we are not networking back our community and the leadership, providing the unity that's necessary to be able to approach these issues wherever they take us and find solutions. Reentry in that situation and whatnot. We're pouring money on a lot of problems, you see, but the bottom line is we don't have the watchdog group or individual or somebody attentive to that, and we get busy and we go off, and there we go again. A good case in point, and I'll shut up on this, Norman. A good case in point, I received a letter today, or Saturday down Kingston, I got it today, from I think it was City Council President Theo Gregory. He was announcing a meeting on Wednesday at 4:30 in City Council chambers, where the Christina School District high-ranking officials are coming in to talk with the community about this finding of the U.S. Department of Education and all these expulsions, unbalanced, black versus white, and the whole nine. And all I'm saying is what we've heard for the last 4 or 5 months, when that first come down and even before it finalized and did, we heard one person trying to shoulder that issue, which was Jay Street, if we be honest about it.
Absolutely.
And as a result of it, Jay getting pulled off on other county council, his work over there at Hilltop and whatnot, and we did not aid him as a community, as a leadership.
Let me hold you.
And we got to come back together to address
right there.
these
And that brings you into this discussion, Gundy.
Right.
What he's basically saying, and what I hear you saying, Herman, you can correct me, that it's your age group now, the new leadership needs to start stepping up and taking on some of these issues.
And holding us accountable wherever we are.
Yeah, and this
Yes.
is a twofold question to you, Gun. Do you feel like I feel, and do you see something different in the streets? You know what I mean? Because be honest, because you understand probably some of the stuff that we don't understand anymore.
Yeah.
And do you see the imbalance, or is it balanced, or is it time for some of these knuckleheads to stop?
Well, it's a little bit of both. But what I can say now that I'm of age where I'd have to take a more leadership role, I'm at that maturity level where as though I can understand the problems and the issues that the younger folks are dealing with. Because in our era, in my generation, I come up under you guys' leadership. And there were plenty of you guys that was on the forefront that would take charge and give us direction, whereas though we didn't have to go and do the things that we're seeing so much of in abundance nowadays. You know, you provided activities.
But what are some of the issues that they're facing? And do you think and I want
At home,
Okay.
starting at home, the parental involvement,
Okay.
the love at home, the education at school, it's the totality.
Unemployment.
Unemployment, you know, it just continues to get worse each generation.
Let me ask both of you a question. We're going to jump to a lot of subjects tonight, and we're going to take some phone calls.
Good.
Do you think it's time that we start thinking about legalizing marijuana?
I do. I say yes. Simply because the cost of incarceration, tying up our courts, our parole officers, our public defender's office, is so out of hand with these kind of very minor charges. And as a result of it, if we get rid of that and go ahead and legalize it, and if somebody's got a whole backyard full of marijuana plants or something like that, that's a different thing.
Different story, yeah.
But if I smoke, which I don't, but if I did, I got me a couple bags, leave me alone. Why I gotta go to court?
What do you think about that, Gun?
I'm not sure about that. I'm on the fence with that.
But why? But why? I kind of agree with you, Herm. I think that, they in some states they're legalizing anyway because of
Yes.
glaucoma.
Yes.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So for
Right.
medical
For
reasons.
medical reasons, I would
but
agree.
why are you on the fence on it? And this is just because this is Crossfire. We're just talking. Do you think it's a drug because it's a gateway drug, or?
Well, I wouldn't say, yeah, it's pretty much. But as far as legalizing it, I wouldn't recommend legalizing more than I would recommend reducing some of the crimes, some of the punishment associated with the crimes.
Okay.
That's what I would put more energy involved with versus the legalized processing of marijuana. Because the charges, the punishments that's come with the crime, it really doesn't make sense.
Let me, Herm, let me go to you real quick. Now let's change another subject. I'm gonna jump into a lot of
That's all
subjects
right.
with you
That's
guys.
all right.
That's
Let's
good.
deal with city politics.
Okay.
What is your opinion on what's going on with the mayor's office via Mayor Williams, city council's office via Theo Gregory? Do you think stuff like this just works its way out? It's just two strong guys with difference of agreement and let the political process work out? Or do you think stuff like this ultimately hurts our community?
Well, it hurts our community. I'll take the latter part first, Norman. It hurts our community because these kind of issues cause people to take sides. You know, this one's right or that one's wrong or this or that. But the bottom line is what we have is a changing of the guards in the city government. We have a very skillful and professional city council politician who was there for 24 years, Theo Gregory. knows city government and the council. He's been president pro tem of the council in the absence of Jim Baker and whatnot when he was president. So Theo knows his way around, has been there and hung with that for 24 years. Now he's the president. Now he's brand new. And here's a whole lot of young and new council persons that are very aggressive as well. On top of that, across the hall, you have a very aggressive, no-nonsense kind of a elected official in the name of Dennis P. Williams, who has worked very hard for 18 years, helping the city of Wilmington with money and being joint finance chair and all that, and doing things to really help the city government. I took a position, Reverend Beeman told me, he said the same thing, Jim Seals and others, when Dennis called us. Why the heck you want to do that? Stay where you're at. But Dennis wanted to do it.
Let me say,
and I think it will work itself out.
Is there a right? Is there a person? Is there a right or wrong? Either one. I mean, if we can stay focused. Go ahead.
I believe it's starting out to an ugly public scenario.
Okay.
However, I believe that's good. And the fact that you have two sides that's passionate about their initiatives, about
how to do
city
things.
government, about the people. So you're going to get the best from both worlds at some point. Initially, it's an ugly start publicly, which I don't feel good about. But I believe as things get settled in, tensions simmer down, I believe both of them are going to put out great efforts.
I don't believe, Norman, I don't believe. And both of these guys are good friends, and Dennis and I are much closer than me and Theo, but we're good friends. Thank God the brother got my divorce when I wanted to get out from underneath that as a lawyer, going back, way back. But good man. But my point is this. Both of these guys are in on new territory, okay? And as a result of that, being strong, knowledgeable leadership and leaders in their rightful respect of people that they represent, they will have from time to time strong opinion on issues as we go forward.
Right.
But I think this will be an eye-opener for the both of them on how they move to try to settle the disputes in the future without allowing it to boil over to the public press and get the folks all bent out of shape.
You know,
that's what I believe.
But you know what I find, and you guys, again, I'm open to dialoguing up and people could join in. It seems like each group now is saying, I got you. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, we get stuff on the mayor's office. The mayor's office gets stuff on city council, you know, get stuff on it. I mean, it's like getting crazy, you know. But before I go, I only want to stay on this stuff. Now let's move to guns and violence in our community. If you were mayor, and let me ask you the same question, Gunny. If you were mayor, how do you tackle this issue? I just saw that we had another shooting, another death.
Yes.
I mean, we talked about drugs, we talked about politics, now we talk about guns. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to open this. There's no topic tonight that we won't touch. So if you want to call with something different, bring it, because this is a serious topic tonight. What would you do? And this is a specific question to both you guys. What would you do? I mean, give it some thought. I mean, at one point, let me tell you what I thought. I thought it got so bad that I went on the air and said, look, let's bring in the National Guards. I went on there and said that. I think that when you decriminalize marijuana and things like that, I think it takes that element out too. That's why I felt like that. So,
me too.
Also, I felt, me personally, I think that we got to get the business community in and start establishing jobs. Because some guys that I've given jobs to, and I see that once they are working and taking home a paycheck and buying a glass of milk and a sub for their family, that their mentality changed. So I'm gonna ask you two the same question that I'm answering because I'm not afraid to take it on.
Right.
What would you think, and what would be your question?
I believe that, number one, I believe that our police force, based on the level of crime today, the violence, the murders, the things that are taking place, that our police force is not adequate. Those in government will wholeheartedly disagree with me. We're okay per capita and all that. The numbers per capita don't prove out the manner in which we are fighting back to take our streets back. So my argument, number one, is that we have an inadequate police force, manpower-wise. Number two, we have the criminal side with far more serious weapons on the street and in their cars and on their persons than does our police force out there trying to deal with it. I think that with the help of the county police and with the state police, I think that we were beginning to kind of see some things kind of taper off a little. But we've allowed the warm weather to come in on us. And that's going to lead to more violence just by virtue of the fact people are hanging out on the corners, laughing and talking, sitting on the stoops or whatever. And I'm hunting for you, and somebody say, "No, when I was around there sitting on that step, I can ride by, spray everybody out there, and go on about my business." The hanging out allows for more things to happen. And in lieu of that, where there are serious hot spots and trouble, I think that particular section of town may need additional manpower, city, county, state police, and National Guards if that's where we need to go.
What do you think?
I sent the governor a letter on that issue.
I remember.
And the governor came back telling me that he really disagreed, didn't feel it was necessary at this time, but his reason was that he said that they are not law enforcement officers. Well, they weren't law enforcement officers in '68 when we had these riots. But Charlie Terry put the National Guards on the street to help keep the calm.
And I'm going to follow up on something else. Go ahead, Gundy. I'm sorry.
I mean, you made a lot of valid points, good points. I'm going to piggyback off that somewhat, but look at it in a different aspect. I hear it all the time. Their main issue with a lot of the guys and girls out on the street is they don't have anything to do. They're suffering at home. They're suffering from low education, whereas though they're not prepared to even have a job to work to get some money. So, I mean, in terms of the crime, there is really a small portion of crime that's really hindering the entire city. So if we continue to just, fall victim to the small percentage of crime, we forget about this larger portion over here that's not crime ridden, that's not doing bad, that's doing some positive, productive things. We have to spend more time with uplifting those, making those positive models visible so that folks can become familiar with what they're doing.
Can I challenge you on one thing? Because I hear this all the time. There's nothing for them to do.
I was going to go there myself.
And then you made another point.
Let me say this real quick. It's not that there's nothing for them to do.
Maybe something they don't want to do.
They're not motivated to do it.
Right, so therefore you have to have folks who can motivate them to get them involved to want to do it. Okay. You have to have more grassroots leaders that can go back to the streets where the issue is, that can have those conversations and dialogues with them to show them something different.
It's funny you bring this up. And I'll put the number up because we want to take some calls, man. We're going to talk about drugs. We're going to talk about legalizing marijuana. We're going to talk about gun violence. Talk about what you're going to do. What would you do if you were mayor or city council president, even county executive or governor? But let me say something to you, Herman and Gundy. I was thinking today, right, because I had a conversation with a younger guy who's in politics, who I consider a friend. And I was like, wow, I'm so thankful that I've been through wars with guys like you and Scott. I mean, I learned so much from your dad and the Cash Jonkers, the Leo Marshalls.
Yes.
I mean, the Al Plants.
Yes.
When you learn from these folks, man, I'm glad that I got that. Good, bad, or indifferent. And I just think that a lot of folks that because they get an appointment because they went to University of Delaware, University of Penn, or something like that.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think they really know some of the struggles. Even the Jim Gilliam juniors or seniors that you might agree or disagree with, but they fought. Wendell Howe, these guys, Jason. I mean, these guys were. Let me take some calls.
We don't have that many. We don't have
I mean,
that many leaders out here.
Turn your TV down. Turn your TV down, please. All right, go ahead.
How you doing, Brother Norman?
I'm good. How you doing, brother?
My name is Brother Thelma Ross.
Okay.
I want to say to Mr. Holloway, how you doing, sir?
Just fine, sir. You?
I support you 100%.
Thank you.
But let me add to what the brother said next to you, Mr. Holloway.
Yes.
I'm on 4th and 5th of Madison every day from 8 in the morning to 6 at night. And I agree with the brother, there's nothing for these young people to do.
Okay.
On my cell phone, I can show you 8 fights that happens every day in that area. That is a one hotspot area.
Yes.
I've never seen a police in that area unless somebody gets shot and killed. But these young people are fighting are mostly girls and young guys that's fighting in that area. So I support the brother when he said that for them young kids, there is nothing.
Can I address?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I address that a moment?
sir.
First of all, the major problem in our community, I think you may agree with me, the major problem among those that are saying things like that and caught up in negativity or whatever, deals with attitude, okay? Attitude. If I carry a gun every day and I'm shooting up in the air or shooting at somebody around the corner, if I change my attitude and no longer want to do that, then I'll just get rid of my gun and I'll stop it. But that's a personal choice for someone. You see what I'm saying? And let me say it a little differently. We are born of a mighty God, and we all do know right from wrong, okay? And the bottom line is,
Not everyone.
I can wake up. We know right from wrong from when we were a little kid, when we were a little kid growing up. Don't touch that stove, and you touch it hot, you don't touch it no more. But my point is this, sir. My point is this. I wake up every day and I'm unemployed. I may have 4, 5, 10 felonies, whatever. If I don't decide to flip the script and say I'm just going to stay here in the house and not go to the corner of choice where these things are happening, Madison, 4th or 5th in Madison, as you talk about. If I say I'm not going there today, I don't want to do that no more. That's a beginning of the change of the attitude. You see what I'm saying?
Hold on. Let me let Gundy jump in. Hey, thanks for the call, buddy.
I hear
Thank
what
you.
you're saying, but to some degree, I have to disagree because as a business owner,
That's good.
as a business owner,
Good evening.
I may have been running business for a long time, but if I didn't learn the right way, then just because I've been doing it a long time doesn't mean I know right from wrong. Until I learn the basics on what's right and what actually works, then you'll see a difference.
Good. Let's take some calls because this is good. This is good that we're gonna keep that. How you doing?
Right.
Welcome to the show.
Yes.
Go, we're here. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am a parent that has lived in the city of Wilmington. Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear, sweetheart. Go ahead,
And
you.
I've been in the city of Wilmington for some time, and I raise my children as well. And I have 2 young adult children who are really out there living their life and not the way I have brought them up.
Right.
And to say that there is nothing out there for those children to do, we do have things out there for those children to do. If we go up against them to force them, they want to fight us.
Yes,
We got to
yes.
run to the police, be up all night. We're
Yes.
left with grandchildren. I'm raising my
Yes.
grandchild
Yes.
right now. So there is something for those children to do. How we're going to get them to do it?
Right.
We got CPS to fight against us if we go after one of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
You
good.
know, if we
That's a
go
great
up
point.
against to protect ourselves or try to get this child off the street. So what are we going to do?
We'll get locked up as the parent.
That's a great point.
we
Thank
will.
you for your call.
Yeah, I've experienced that.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Choices they make.
Hey, good evening, guys.
morning.
This is Liz Allen.
Hi, Liz.
I wanted to say this. Let's be straight up, okay? I'm a straight shooter. I bet every one of us have smoked a joint in our lifetime. The President of the United States has. So has Eric Holder.
Not everybody.
Let's get
I've
real
never.
with that pot stuff.
That's all
and,
right.
And declassify that because blacks are 5 times more likely to end up in prison for pot.
Which is
than
ridiculous. Which
Yes.
is ridiculous.
Yes.
It
Which-
is. Now,
yes.
here's the thing. What is a problem and is an epidemic in this state right now is the sale of OxyContin. And when they can't
I
get
said this.
OxyContin, they're going straight to heroin.
Yep.
We have a heroin epidemic.
Been out of
And,
hand.
and it's not among so many blacks. It's in the white population. Now, there's going to be some legislation come out both in city council and in county council to address this. And you should all be backing this proposal. We want the Stokely Center down in Georgetown, 750-acre complex, reserved. Cottages are there, infrastructure is there to house and rehabilitate therapeutically, effectively our drug addicted and our alcoholics, many of whom self-medicate with drugs and alcohol because there's only one detox center in this state. Gateway is closing in Delaware City. That's even fewer beds. When
Wow.
I tell you it's an epidemic, ask the funeral directors.
Good point.
They know the answer.
Hey, Liz, hold for 1 second before you hang up. Let me ask you a question. Can you and maybe someone else come on next week? Let's talk about autism. I think that'd be a great topic too.
Well, autism, of course, I have an autistic son who is now 44 years old and was the fifth one to go into the autistic program. I helped create that program.
But we'll talk about it offline. Thanks, Liz. I think,
You know, Norman, and the big problem there is, and Liz and I have talked about the creation of continuing the bids for detoxification and things of that nature. And I supported. She asked if she could have some of my airtime to do a show about it and all that, and I told her yes. But Liz, the major problem we have with getting people into treatment programs, Norman, is these folks are so strung out there in a state of denial. I don't really need to do this. I can get off of it when I want to. I'll stop when I want to. I don't need to go nowhere. How do we deal with that? How do we fill up the beds when we get the extra beds and get them to want to go?
Gundy, do you see a movement of people on the pills more now than anything else?
Most definitely.
Wow.
That's what I hear.
It's
And it's the girls too, right?
it's everyone, guys and girls.
Wow. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello, how you gentlemen doing?
Just
Okay.
fine, sir.
This is Diggin' William, 199.
Hey.
That's what I want to tell y'all. The black folks, these poor people, they ain't got no boat. They ain't got no airplane. The white man fly all this dope in here. And the blacks around you killing the blacks with them oozes. It's pitiful. What they still are building a prisoner, they should put these people on program, open up some program for them. Instead of locking them all up, you understand me? And get them guns off the street. God bless all of y'all. Have a nice
Thank
night.
you,
Hey,
sir.
hold, time out. What do you do down at 199?
Huh?
What do you do at 199?
I'm retired. I used to be a labor down there.
Oh,
50
okay.
years.
Do they have any programs down there where like a apprentice program where they can learn a skill?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we need. Again, that's what I'm
They
saying.
just
So
built
there
a
is stuff for people to do.
They just built a
gotta
$5
wanna do it.
million
Thank you.
training center in Newark.
Wow.
$5 million training
But you
center.
see
I
what I'm
was there at
saying?
the dedication of the
Wow.
opening.
So I mean that teaches somebody a skill, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the old cliche: you give them a fish, they eat for a day. You teach them a fish, they
Eat forever.
eat forever.
Well,
How you doing? You have a question, comment?
Hey, Norman, how you doing?
How you doing?
Okay, I'm good. Hey, Mr. Holloway, how you doing?
just fine. How are you?
That's good.
Good.
Hey, listen, Norman, I agree with you 100%. Because we don't own no poppy fields. And your last caller made a good comment. We don't own no poppy fields. And as far as the marijuana is concerned, hey, it's bigger than us.
Right.
You know, it's much bigger than us. And you got these guys who got chemical situations in their basements.
But why are blacks getting more incarceration time than their counterparts? And this is not a racist comment. It's something that's factual. People are doing studies on this now. And when you see it and you read it, see, I have to be.
I see it in the paper. Norman.
I have to be lucky enough to be in both communities.
Right.
So,
right,
so I
right.
see
You
it.
see it.
I mean,
Right.
I went to a pretty much 90% black school, then I went to a 90% white school. And trust me, the drugs in that school were 10 times more, and they had 10 times more weed than they had at the black schools. I didn't know what weed was.
That's what I'm saying, Norman. I'm saying the same thing you're saying.
And now they locked them, and they locked them up. And then the judges giving these guys time.
Much
And
more.
they need to really look at the judges, the probation, parole,
Yeah.
the
whole
public
system.
defenders.
The whole entire
agree.
system.
I mean, the whole
And
system.
the bottom line
Something's
to
messed up, Norman, because
the
like
bottom
you say,
line
when
to
you come
all
up,
of that.
you might find a pound of weed. You go to one of the schools up here, you might find a joint.
Right, and they get locked up and get
Right.
kicked out of school.
The
Hey,
bottom
thank you.
line to the airplanes bringing it in and who controls it. We function in this society from a loaf of bread to a quart of milk every day. Box of cornflakes, Norman. Supply and demand. And for as long as there's a demand in the communities across this country for certain things, somebody gonna find a way to get it to us. And if we think that we're gonna change it by getting the higher ups of government to step in and stop it, we're just kidding ourselves.
What do you think, Gun?
Well, everything starts at home.
The choices we make.
Everything starts at
Choices
home.
we
What
make.
you're brought up with, what you're taught, what your belief system is based on, that's where it begins. And a lot of times that's where it ends. Like you said earlier, I have a better example. When a kid, a newborn, he sees his father walking down the street with his pants hanging down. He comes up doing the same thing. he think that's the right way to do.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
You know, he think that's the right way to go,
I had
and
a
it's not.
son who was involved, who caught some charges in reference to drugs, and God has since touched his life. However, I found a program out here that I don't know if people are aware, the Pardons Project, that would help those who want to turn their lives around, and the project is here to help them.
Who runs that?
Would stop this.
Well,
This would stop them from going
Dwight
back out in
Davis.
the streets selling drugs, because then they would get their records expunged and pardoned, and then they'll be able to get decent jobs.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is that the program that Dwight Davis runs?
Yeah, I don't know who runs it, but my son went for a pardon, and
Wow.
praise God, he was blessed to get a pardon, and now he's moving on to get his record expunged so that he will be able to be a productive citizen. I just don't know if this project is known to everyone, but I feel it would be a big help to our community, because some of the guys do and women do want to turn their lives around. So I asked that you talk about the Pardons Project. The number is 656-2721, so they can help them.
6562. Say that phone number again, ma'am.
The phone number is 656-2721. It's on 1304 North
That's a
Rodden
different
Street
project.
in Wilmington, Delaware.
It's a different
The
program.
only thing they
that's
have to
a
do is get a copy of their records, and this would help them go before the governor and the Pardons Board, and then get their record expunged, and they'll be able to move on with their lives in a productive way.
Hey, this was a very good call. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Okay, because what I find and what she's saying, and you could answer this and use Herm, once people get caught up in the system, man,
It's tough. It's
man,
tough. My grandfather
see
taught
it.
me a long time ago.
I mean-
It's easy
I
to
mean-
get yourself into trouble, but hard to get out.
My nephew had a job. And they violated the dude. I know he was working. You know what I mean? But these people get power over you, and it's like you're done.
Yeah, I've been blessed to also have a partner, and it has helped me move on a lot further.
But you're doing a good job. You got comedy shows and all that.
Oh,
You're getting
man.
free advertisement. How you doing? Welcome
It
to
ain't
the
nothing
show.
free with you, boy.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we here. Go ahead.
Are all the shootings and killings associated with drugs, or is there some other reason that we're killing one another out here?
Majority of them.
Mentality.
Related, or is it just stupidity?
I'll let my panel answer that.
I would say a lot of it is mentality, more so than the actual drugs.
I would kind of disagree. I think the majority is drug related, and it comes in two respects, two different pockets. One is drugs and drug sales and drugs on consignment and the money getting messed up, or they use the drugs up, then don't have the money and can't pay, and they hiding and ducking out. So now the guy that gave them the package is looking for them.
Right.
The other side of it is that there are people that are seriously addicted that can get their hands on a handgun quicker than we can turn the corner, and end up, because of their addiction and sickness, drugs, they're going to turn around and rob you, stick you up, you, me, and rob us and take our wallet and go try to get them some dope because they're sick.
Yeah. Why you disagree with that, guy?
There may have been a time when there was more drugs, I would say, but now I believe it's more the mentality. Some of what they believe in terms of the music they may listen to.
So you saying they
the
just
pride. There's a lot of it more is about pride, more so than drugs. So a lot of shootings don't even be about drugs.
they just come they just but does it deal with anything about robbing or anything?
I just don't like you.
Wow, that's crazy. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Norm, and to your guest. This is Josie.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Josie.
How
Hello.
you doing? Herm, I was listening, and to answer your question, you said how do they get, you get to these people to, turn their life around. I think what happens years ago, there was more resources than we have now.
True.
And they were court-ordered to go into these programs.
True.
And if we had the resources, and instead of sending them to jail, and they were court-ordered to go into these programs, because I remember the state had a 28-day program.
I remember that.
And they were court-ordered to go, and then those people turned their life around. So we don't have the resources, but I think that would answer one of your questions as to how do we, turn to get treatment for them.
Yes.
But we don't have that no more.
Yeah, I
And Josie,
would
as they
agree with
say,
that.
Josie, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired,
Yeah.
that's when you step out of that box of negativity, and you're just going to do what you got to do. You know, New Jack City, Chris Rock, in the scene of New Jack City, when he just was determined to cold turkey out on his own and went up back into it, but got himself clean.
Yeah.
Because Wesley Snipes said, if you get yourself cleaned up, I'm going to give you a job. You can come work for me.
Yeah.
And he did that for a little while.
And
He was clean, and it's a true story. And then he turned around and started sneaking the drugs and getting high again.
And that probably,
and there you go again.
That probably was funny. Hey, Josie, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Would you agree with me? The best thing that can happen to you with county council is city council. Could you bring us some insight? What was that fight about with County Councilman Weiner and Penrose Islands?
Councilman who?
Weiner and Penrose. I mean, were they ready to duke it out for real? Was it going to be a real fight? I know you wasn't for the county
You
then.
know, I really missed that one.
Okay, baby. Bye-bye.
That county meeting.
Josie, I go to a lot of meetings, but I wasn't there that night.
Look, I want to talk about everything but that.
I would like to reiterate
Good comment, Josie.
and say more of the drug usage creates more shootings.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, good evening, Norman.
Uh-huh.
Norman, I would like for you, as well as your panel, to address this Al Ballard situation, how our mayor moved him up to commissioner when he's a known felon and a pedophile and all of that. Something's wrong with that picture with no background check and whatever. Now, I really would like for you to comment on it because they're trying to snowball it. Thank you.
All right, let me give you my opinion, and I don't know much about it because I'm not in city government. It seems to me that the guy got a job, and that was under the Baker administration. It wasn't under the Williams administration.
Yes.
Hey, Abin, when I'm talking, let's just try to. Okay, thank you very much. It seems like it was under the Baker administration. The guy, it wasn't a merit system job. It was a merit system job.
Mm-hmm.
He worked in there, worked his way up. Then Dennis Williams, from my understanding, because I talked to someone who
Inherited him
as
as a city employee.
and somebody, transition team looked over and said, this guy is doing good, bang, 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 let's put him here. Then after they did the checks, they said, whoa. And I don't know how deep it got, but some stuff like that to pass from the pedophile. You know, I'm all about giving people a second chance. And again, I don't know what I know, so I don't want to comment on it because I don't want to, put somebody in a bad situation. But I'm concerned when they start talking about little boys because I have a son.
Yes. No, let me.
And that's all I can say to that. I don't like that kind of stuff with little girls, little boys.
I agree.
I mean, maybe he did or didn't. I don't know. I'm not the judge of
agree.
jury. I wasn't I wasn't judge of the
Didn't
case.
see it.
But if it's true,
Well,
and he pleaded guilty to it. So
here's how I see it. Number one, how he got.
Turn your TV down.
Evidently, the mayor, with whatever input that came through the transition team or whoever, if that's where it came from, and I don't know any of that to be true or how it happened. The bottom line is, the mayor felt that here's a good long-time city employee who has worked in a supervisory position many years up through the ranks, I would imagine. Done a good job. Done a good job. And in him coming in and want to make some changes, he decided to promote him up to the next level and make him commissioner of public works. To me, even if it fell through the cracks of the mayor's office, if it fell through the cracks, Mr. Ballard, in my opinion, Norman, had the awesome responsibility when the mayor talked about moving him up to that spotlight position, that he should have told the mayor, let me talk to you in private. There are some things in my background, you understand? And told him about that. Evidently, he had worked for the city, I'm hearing 8-9 years or so or longer. Yeah. He was there in that second position. And he could have stayed there and retired from the city government. To expose himself to that, thinking it would never come out, it's foolish.
That brings me to another question. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to take the call in 1 second. Because we having a conversation about so much stuff here. That brings me, I had Wolfie and some other guys on, right? And they thought that it was wrong for that box, for people to check that box and say that they were a felon or whatever, because it discriminated against them from getting jobs. And then you have a situation like this that's totally
I think
reversed.
they need the box.
So Herm thinks we need the box. What do you think?
Well, the box is going to always be relevant because you have human capital monitoring human capital. So whenever you see the box checked, if I'm a supervisor, I'm going to
But Jim Baker took your box out. And my question to you is,
Right.
do you think it's necessary? Herman's saying
I think it is.
it is. I don't think so. What is your thoughts?
Initially, no.
Okay. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello. I have 2 comments. One was about the box. I disagree. I think that the box should be removed. I don't think that means no longer do background checks,
Right.
but at least it doesn't discriminate for
Right.
people on the front side of
Exactly.
interviewing. The other thing is I wanted to make a comment. Earlier in the show, Herman said something about the treatment center in Sussex. And I just wanted to say that I disagree with the statement he made about people going into treatment.
Treatment
I
in
think that
Sussex?
there's a
No,
addict
Liz Allen
out
said that.
there
Liz Allen
go
said
with
that.
the treatment if treatment was made available versus it not. And we don't have any places in the city of Wilmington.
I'm sorry. What did you explain?
What's the
slow
quote?
again. What did
What's
you
the
say?
quote?
Do you say we need a treatment center here in Wilmington, or the one in Sussex?
We absolutely need the treatment facilities here in the city, and I believe if
I
we
agree.
had resources available, that there will be more people willing to go into treatment. So if they opened up a place in Sussex, it would actually be filled, and it would be filled quickly because I think
I remember. I think you said something like people wouldn't go.
Majority of people being in a state of denial and not accepting responsibility and wanting to go. Let me tell you something about that. Let me tell you something about that. Our detoxification unit is Kirkwood Detox up on Kirkwood Highway right next to the state police barracks, okay? And others that have worked with me, Joe Perk, others going back over the years, Norman, we have taken people there, got them together, got them the proper clothing, got them toothpaste, soap, all of that, cigarettes, gave them a few dollars to use the payphone, and some of those folks would get up there in the middle of the night and go out the back door and set the alarm off. There was a young lady that left. There's a young lady that left and walked out on Kirkwood Highway and got run over and killed by a car in the middle of the wee hours of the morning.
I think that's the fuse that you work with. In order to even get into detox, you have to be intoxicated. Like a person can't even decide one day.
That's true.
I'm having
That's
a
true.
good day and I'm clean and I want
And
to
that's
come
the
in
system.
And I want to go into treatment. The other
That's the
thing
system.
is we don't
I
have
agree.
treatment facilities, like I stated, here in the city of Wilmington. And then if you have a person that wants treatment, you have to go through the whole insurance thing. So now, if I have Medicaid or if I have private insurance, I got to drop the 2 in order to get treatment.
No. There are places you can go right now to get yourself clean that you do not need insurance. That's not so.
Is it
That's not in the city, but there are programs.
If I have insurance or if I have Medicaid and I have an addiction, it is very hard for me to get into treatment. Speaking from a person who's worked with people and tried to get people into treatment. The other thing is there's no places here in the city or in the state. Most people have to go to Philadelphia.
Yes.
Well, this
yes.
was
That's
a
what I'm
very
talking-
good call.
Yes.
Thank you so very
yes,
much.
Thank you. And that's true.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Turn
My
your
name is Amar.
Turn your TV down a little bit, okay?
Hi, my name is Amar. And I want to think all of the drugs that the shootouts are on the street, that the police should take all the drug dealers off the streets so Wilmington and other states can be better.
Oh, thank you for your call, Omar.
We wish we could do it, Omar.
Take them all off and put them all in Roddy Square. Just let them stay there until they just fall the hell out. How you doing? Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Yes. Where's the panel? Where's the panel version of gay marriage?
All right, we had a he said, "What do you think about gay marriage?" I don't have a problem with it.
I don't. Well, let me back up.
Hold for 1 second, okay?
If I were a voting legislator and had a vote on that, Norman, my vote would be not voting.
Okay.
Not voting.
Yeah.
My position is that, frankly, I have a problem with marriage. Civil union, that one that has been in a relationship, woman, man, and man, they should have the right, if they devoted their lives together, to be able to benefit from what they accumulated when the other dies or whatever. There was a story on TV that really broke my heart, seeing where there were two male lovers, lived together for years, and one was in the hospital dying of AIDS. And his mate, who had been with him forever and a day, wasn't allowed because he wasn't next to kin, could not even go into the hospital.
Real quickly.
Got a problem with that.
Because
civil union, not marriage.
You for civil marriage?
I don't judge. I believe in man and wife.
Okay. You for civil marriage?
Civil unions, I don't have a problem with to say go get married.
That's another thing.
I got a problem with that.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
It's a man and woman thing.
Yeah.
How you doing? Welcome to.
Twin B. Brown, Norman.
How you doing,
Hey, twin.
All right, Norman, just a few things. We got several problems in our community that I feel it plays a big part in crime, violence, and all that. One of the things, we have too many kids that's dropping out of school, walking the streets every day at school age. Police cars passing by them won't even stop to say anything to them. I have pulled police over and asked them why didn't they stop the kids when I was behind them and things of that nature. Then we need more training programs. Then we need programs to encourage people to get involved into the training program.
Right.
Man, hey, twin, let me tell you something, right? You can have a training program and make $5,000, and you be on the front page, and everybody want to question you. You get guys right now that are making $5 million, and the programs are horrible in these schools, and they justify them. And you know I'm telling the truth. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then it's the black folks gonna be the ones talking about you get the 5,000.
Yeah.
Them the ones who are gonna be cutting you up. I mean, regardless, you got a program. When you teach them, regardless what people think and not think about how to use TVs, and you do give them some learning. You can't get $3,000, man. You got to talk to 10,000 people to get $3,000. And these guys come in with a proposal and get $10 million and then give you $2,000 and use your report.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, Norman.
Hey, Rev, am I telling the truth?
Are people,
he must have hung up.
Are people that have great formal resources to critique a proposal to the letter.
Dude,
for what they say they're going to fund.
They got cousins who ain't born making money.
And they don't have the people in the community base to make that program work.
Hey, twin, am I lying?
It don't filter down to the people
that's what's most
in a lot of cases.
You're telling the truth, but we still have to, regardless to all the circumstances, we still have to work at the things that's working. Norman, for the last 3 years, I worked in Baltimore, and these programs are working, but we have to have programs and encourage people to get involved and get some training. We got too many people.
You know what?
Hey, twin, how did they get those programs? How did they get them in Baltimore? Somebody leadership stepped to the plate.
Hey, Gundy, I'm gonna tell both of you cats. We sit here. If I sit on here and talk about finances, you know, what you try to make money because you're an entrepreneur. You pretty much an entrepreneur. You don't work for nobody. You work for the King Center. You got to work instruct. You not gonna get a check every 50th or 30th like some of these people, and they want to hold your check. We sit here and talk about it, and you the bad guy. Then they want to make us the pimps, and the real pimps are the ones who working in these government agencies getting my tax dollars.
I have a prime example.
I mean, for real, is that the truth?
I have a prime example.
How you doing? Welcome to the show. I'm not gonna stay on that.
Norman, I know you and I know Mr. Holloway. This is Ken Johnson.
Hi, Ken.
I want to know who your third guest is. I don't remember him.
Go ahead, you can tell
My
you.
name is Ugandi Jacobs.
That's it, not me. Switch the camera real quick.
My name is Ugandi Jacobs. How you doing, sir?
Thank you. Did you want a question? I guess not. How you doing? Welcome to the show. We're gonna keep moving real quick because we got just a few minutes. Go ahead. Yeah, but what's your point, Gundy? I'm sorry.
Well, a perfect example. Tyler Brooks. Everyone knows him as T.Y. He just recently had Kingswood Day.
Yeah.
Over at Kingswood Community Center.
Hard worker.
Hard work. Very few people showed up. But no disrespect to any other race or organization. If you ride past the Italian festival, you'll see their whole community out.
The Greek festival?
The Greek festival. Greek festival. You'll see their whole community out, including our community. We'll go support everyone else besides our own. And I have a problem with that.
First of all, they can't get $10 to really have a good event. You know what I mean? I mean, you got the bag bar still. You know, I mean, let's keep it honest, man. You know, I mean,
some of them get that $10 when they want that weed.
But that's
they want that,
remember you had the event over Albert Park. I mean, I gave you a couple dollars. I mean, you know how many people you got a bag for $100, and these
Oh, you mean
guys-
to put the event on?
Put the event on.
Yeah, put the event
and
on.
these guys get a check like that, and then they make us to be the crooks. I never forget the black guy walking around with a reporter saying that, telling Tom Wagner, "I'm stealing money." I'm saying, dude, you the crook. I think I hired you. You know, he had cats working in the school district. And the black guy walking around, you know, what the report said he
So I
made
said you the
$90,000 over 4
Gander
years.
Hill.
$90,000. Dude, I made about $5,000. And my picture's on the front page of the paper. And then you're going to look at, now Tom Wagner don't even talk to these crooks, because they're the crooks because they sophisticated snitches. And they know what I'm talking about, because they're horrible. Then when the pressure gets on, they run to the hills. You don't hear from them.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, real
Loaded.
quickly, man, can you put AJ's picture up there? AJ English has a basketball camp coming up, and I want to put that on there. Also, we have a summer camp going on with the Neighborhood House. That's North Enterprises in Neighborhood House. If you want to sign up, you could call Jack Booker at 373-8888. Call Jack Booker at 373-8888. And also, Herman, we got summer jobs over South Wilmington.
Okay.
But back to what you're saying, Gundy, the people got to fill out the applications.
Yeah.
Any parent over Southbridge, we have jobs that they can work with Nora Enterprises and Neighborhood House. But you got to fill out the application. I can't fill out the application, give you a job,
Go
take
knock
you to
on
work.
your door.
Right.
Mr.
Right. They
Moffitt
have to
right
want
now,
it.
who
Yeah,
works
they
in my
have to want
office,
it.
he's knocking on their doors.
They have to want it.
We got 15 jobs available right now, 2 applications. 2!
Do the community know? Do they
Yeah,
know about it?
Mr. Moffitt's knocking on. We knocking on the door. We put out like 15. Dude, there's only 5 families over there.
Yeah.
He done put down
The
1,500
schools-
flyers.
What's the pay rate?
The schools
We gonna talk to you about that.
The media advertises, city council advertises, summer job applications going to be taken at such and such. They floated to all the northeast, south, and west neighborhood centers and even said, come on in and fill out the application. Park and rec. Park and rec.
Have you ever had some of these guys work for you during the summer?
Some of you?
Yeah, some of them want to come
We
to
used
work.
to have
They
25. We used to have 25.
some of them you don't want to be bothered with them, would
Yeah,
you?
the work ethic isn't
That's
there.
why I
Isn't
quit
great.
being a site. I just started being a site back about a year or two ago because
I'm
I quit
telling you.
being a site because of the nuisance of it.
He's not lying. How you doing, real quickly? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Norman, I just wanted to make a correction to a statement that was made earlier in the show. You guys spoke about no one going to court but J Street and no one doing anything in the community.
I didn't say that.
No, that wasn't a statement, but go ahead.
Okay, because I was going to say Pastor D spends a lot of time in the going to court with people and also working with people in the community to curb the violence in the city. of Wilmington. And a lot of times that goes unnoted. I mean, many times people come up on the show on Channel 28, not just for your show, but many of the shows that come on Channel 28 and say that there's no one doing anything in the community, when many times those very same people contact Pastor B when they have family members or when people in their community are being murdered or need to go to
Yeah,
court.
can
or
I
something's going on with them.
can I make a
Yeah,
comment? Can I make a
I've
quick comment?
never made
first,
that
First of all,
statement. Never.
every time we on here, I mean, we do give Pastor D his propers like we give Gundy, we give Herman, we give. I mean, me personally, I can speak for myself, Duffy or whomever, they're propers. I think what Herman was saying on the educational, that piece, that one piece, dealing with the federal government and dealing with people in the schools. Jay had took the
J
banner
Street
on
has
that
the- right,
issue.
the school
you
issue.
talk about the education issue.
Yes,
I don't-
the education.
Nobody said
Not about
anything
the
about
shootings and helping
had nothing
and
to do
the
with
young people.
Yeah, you cool with that? Hello? Yeah.
Oh, she hung up.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think that sometimes, and Pastor D has called here before, I think that they get, especially people from Joshua, they get a little uptight thinking that he's not getting his
Pastor
proper.
D's done a good work.
But
in
a lot of
areas.
people
He's
doing
done
a
good
lot
work.
of
You gotta
a lot
give
of
him
people
his
doing a lot of
props.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, if I sat here and just list like 10,000 names, I'm always gonna miss somebody.
Exactly.
You know, because then somebody call and say, you know, I mean, Gundy, you doing some good stuff. How you doing,
More
last?
quietly than
Yeah,
publicly.
yeah. How you doing, last question?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's that? What did you just say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, you the last caller real quickly because we out of time.
Oh, I'm the last caller. Okay, well, I'm calling at the beginning of the program. You was talking about what's there to do for the children or for the kids. That's how it started off. The program started off, and then we jumped all the way from that to the.
Okay, yeah, good to your point. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, what I'm talking about is as of June the 17th, Parks and Recs, all the parks in citywide will be starting from 9 to 1
for the children with breakfast and lunch.
Thank you.
We have games and stuff to do. So from 9 to 1, the children have something to do.
And no, you just solidified what we was telling you, Gunny Jacobs. There is stuff to do. See, Gunny just want them all to do what he want. He just want them all to come to this comedy hour. Thank you, sweetheart. Hey, matter of fact, Gunny, what is your comedy thing coming?
Man, this Father's Day weekend, this Friday, we're launching a brand new comedy series down at the all-new IMAX Theater.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You know, the new movie theater on the riverfront. We're bringing in some of the hottest comedians in the nation. And
you run out of time, man.
I'm asking everybody to come on out this Friday and enjoy a good comedy show. We all need a good laugh. Doors open at 7:30. The show starts at 8 p.m. It's only $25.
Glad to see you down.
Glad to see you. And hey, look at that announcement cost you $25.
I'm sure $2,500.
And ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you get something out of every program we have. You agree or disagree? I think that's what this Crossfire is about. I mean, and we got a lot of good calls.
It's very educational.
It's education. The only thing you can do is make education. Man, I see you two guys mix it up a little bit, man.
No.
I like that, man. I like it.
Crossfire,
where you got suit at, man?
Oh, man, this goes back to you.
Man, you stay sharp, man. I think I'll get you a Trinity Barrel. I think I'm going to have y'all on a dress
and
off.
Mike Brown. And Mike Brown.
Yeah, Mike Brown,
come
man.
in with an orange suit on.
Okay, yeah, we out of here, man. I'm out of here, man. You sharp, man.